Okay, this is my third video on comment section culture, and this one is about whether you should even have an opinion on something when you first encounter it. Comment section culture, as I've already mentioned, is the fact that anytime there's a piece of news or a product being advertised or somebody sharing a photo of their baby or their dog on the internet, there's some kind of comment field for you. For a lot of people, that seems like it feels like an invitation to share an opinion and write something that's very unfiltered and that you might not have ever in the past even paused to grab and observe and reflect on as it being an opinion or a response. So in social psychology, there's this idea of implicit prejudice, which is this idea that we have a lot of associations in our mind that are just below or just at the level of conscious awareness. So we might be more likely to associate a black face with violence or danger, or if we see a black person holding an object, we might be more likely to assume it's a weapon than a white face. And most people have little snap judgment associations like that, even if there's someone who is really opposed to racism or who wants to not be biased. Most people have absorbed some of those associations. And it's really fast. It's measured based on your reaction time. It's implicit. And so we almost all have some kind of implicit thing that comes up in our minds sometimes that doesn't reflect our actual values. And that could be something like a racially prejudiced or racially stereotypical thought or feeling, and it can extend even further to just having really traditional reactions to something. So you might be, let's say, if you're a straight person raised in Christianity, you might see a gay couple kissing and feel a little bit of like discomfort or like prickliness, or just kind of maybe not even discomfort, but just like, oh, that's different and that's odd. And that might occur even if you are completely an ally and you really show that with your actions and you're really like are not a biased person and you're doing your best to not be a biased person. We have snap judgments and initial reactions that are unfair and are biased. There's also this social psychological principle or trait called the need to evaluate. It's something measured with something called the need to evaluate scale. And people who are really high in the need to evaluate form judgments and evaluations of things very immediately and very readily. It's still amazing to me that some people aren't high in that. I judge everything. When I meet someone, I decide whether I think I'll get along with them or not. If there is a food, an item of clothing, a political event, a news item, I have a feeling about it, and I usually want to share it with people and think that it matters. And what I'm kind of getting at here is that sometimes your opinion doesn't matter. Like, literally, who cares what you think about Tropicana changing their orange juice logo, right? Like, but now you have the freedom to comment on it, and you don't have to even pause and think and sit with those feelings. I think it used to be, before the internet, by and large, if you were high in the need to evaluate and you were the type of person going around stamping things with good, bad, awkward, I don't like that, I like that, all throughout your day, you had to live with those feelings and you had to kind of turn them over in your mind and decide, why do I like that? Why don't I like that? Why do I think that's awkward? And maybe through holding on to it inside of you, you could eventually let some of those evaluations go. You'd realize, I don't know why I think that, or that doesn't matter, and you could just let it go. But now you are encouraged implicitly in how social media platforms are designed to take that initial evaluation and share it with the world. And that absolves you of the responsibility to reflect on it and to even determine whether it needs to be shared or if you should be having it. And I think that is a really concerning feature of comment section culture. It's like we all feel like there's a microphone in our face and that we're supposed to issue a statement on everything all the time. And sometimes our statements are totally useless, and sometimes they're much worse. They're toxic.